Pretty cool sounding chords, huh? I thought you guys would like that. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about today, the kinds of sounds I was just using right there. So what was it about those chords? By the way, welcome to lesson number 23. What was it about those chords that stood out to you that were different than the other types of chords that we've been learning up till now? Okay, you can notice that I was playing some different fingerings, certainly, but let's listen to the chords again to see if you can distinguish what I did here. Now you can see where my first finger is on the D here in the bottom, so you can make an assumption that it's some kind of D chord. It almost looks like a D chord, but here's a full D major chord. And here's what I'm playing. Okay? So what happens? Let's go over to my board and figure out what I've done here. I've taken this note right here, and I've actually just barred all the way over to this note. Okay, so what would that be? If I just have this voicing right here, I have some kind of a D chord, but it's kind of vague. What is it? It's root, it's fifth, it's another root, and then it's a second degree or a ninth. So it's kind of an incomplete chord because it doesn't really have a third. Okay, so chords like that you can describe as, in this case, it could be D5. Like D5 simply means it's root and fifth, but I still have to distinguish that note. So we're going to call that Add 2. So D5 Add 2. It could also say Add 9 because the 2 is the same as the ninth. But let's call it Add 2 right there. Okay, so that's because it's root D5 Add 2 equals root fifth and second. Okay, so that's what that is. Okay, now let's take a look at the other voicing I used. A little different. Let's listen to what we have here. We have this. Okay. Now you can see it looks kind of like an A major chord, but I'm taking my fourth finger here and I'm extending it all the way up to the B. Once again, the B, in this case, is the second degree of the scale in this octave. But check it out, in this case, I also have a major third. I still have the major third of the chord. So in this case, what we've done here is I've simply gotten rid of the second root here, and I just extended it to the second degree of the scale. So really, we still have a true major chord in this case, but what we have is an A major add 2, not A5, but A major add 2. Because we've added it to a major chord, because there's a third in this chord. So this is A major add 2, okay? As opposed to, let's say, A major A5 add 2, which is this segment. Simply 1, 5, 1, 2. When you have the third, you have to call it A major. This would be A major add 2. This would be A5 add 2. Okay? But anyway, here's the voicing I played right here. 1, 5, 9, 3, 5. Okay, it's a little bit of a stretch, but it sounds nice when you put these two chords together. We've got D5 add 2. What do you think of when you hear those kind of chords? What kind of sounds and music groups do you think about? They're really popular now, and they've been around for a long time, but they were really originated a long time ago from a very popular band with three guys that toured around in a van in the 70s, and it became the group known as the Police. And I'm sure you've heard of the Police by now. And that was due in part largely to the types of chords that Andy Summers, the guitar player in that group, used. They were only a three-piece band, but they still sounded very full for such a small instrumentation, just guitar, bass, drums. And a lot of what made them sound full is the interesting and open sounding chords that Andy Summers used in his chord approach. Rather than going, he would play stuff like, right, and make it sound more interesting with extended chords, but not seventh chords, just major chords with extended notes. Okay, let's go ahead and do the same thing for some of these other chords here. If I have an open G chord like this, certainly a nice open G chord, but how do I make this either a G5 add 2 or a G major add 2? Well, there's an easy way to do it. You could just take the third off of this and just simply add the second degree right here. And then you've got 1, 5, 2, 5, 1. So this would be G5 add 2 in a nice open string version of it. Okay? If I wanted to play G major add 2, I'd have to play this one. Because remember, I have to have a third in there. So I can't play the third and the second on the same string. I'm going to run out. I don't have a choice unless I put the third here. But I like this voicing right now. Okay, let's do this. Let's experiment with the open A chord. I think in this case, I'm just going to get rid of the third here, and I'm going to open it up to the second degree that way. And now I've got a nice open ringy A chord, and this would be called A5 add 2. Okay, so there's a lot of other things you can do in addition to this chord. You might see me in this next example play things like, check out what I did there. I took the A chord and I added 2 notes. I added the B, which is the second degree, and I also added the D, which is the 4th degree. And I'll go back and forth between this, I'm sorry, to create a little bit of a voice. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at our progression that I've written out on the board right here. And you'll see all these chords are being moved around. This example is to create an interesting, very typical police sort of sounding progression. Okay, I've got 2 sections here. The first section repeats 3 times. And notice I'm very clear about what I want. If I want a 5 chord with an add 2, I write it exactly like that. If I want a major chord with an add 2, well, in this case, I wasn't as clear as I needed it to be. Let's fix this. Let's make it A major add 2. That's what I meant to do there. Let's make this A5